Hello, my name's Kevin. I'm a musician living in London, Ontario. Today I'm going to do a demonstration on drum compression. Compression is a dynamic processor effect that allows you to reduce the dynamic range of any given audio wave file in a number of different ways. Here we have a live drum segment taken from an earlier project. Compression can be used on any instrument, but it's especially used on drums and bass and vocal tracks. Similar to a limiter, a compressor does a soft treatment of the amplitude of a audio track using a threshold and ratio function. If we zoom in here, we can see a single drum hit, and this is known as a transient. A transient is basically a quick burst of amplitude that goes through a lot of changes in a very short period of time, and a compressor treats each of these individually, creating a threshold where the compression will begin at what level of amplitude. And then the ratio is how much the effect will take place once the amplitude hits those points. So as you can see, there's a lot of sharp drum hits and a lot of cymbal crashes in this segment. So when we call up our compressor here, we can see we have access to the functions. First, there is threshold. This is where you set the level of amplitude where you want the dynamic effect to begin functioning. Ratio is the amount of the dynamic effect once it is above the threshold. The attack controls the speed of the compression at the beginning of a transient or sound, and the release controls the speed of the compression on the back end of the sound. The compressor processes each transient very quickly using RMS. This means root means square. Every sample is multiplied by itself, which gives the computer a positive version of every signal. A compressor basically does two things. It's divided into two segments, and the first segment analyzes the input signal, and this is called the side chain or the key section, and the other segment is a volume fader. So all these functions work independently of one another, and this allows you to apply changes to your track and affect the punchiness of a drum groove or the impact of a bass line. If we zoom in here, we can create a short loop around one particular transient, and we can see the effect when we adjust the attack and release functions. Using this technique, you can adjust the decay of a crash cymbal, the level of punchiness to a kick drum. The compressor is just sort of a smart treatment of various fades, and when you do this in the studio manually, they call it riding the fader, which is done a lot to suppress loud bursts of music or instruments. But the compressor can do this very quickly and efficiently. That concludes my demonstration, and I appreciate you watching. And I will see you next time.